Hello students, today I am going to teach you about magnetic field at a point P due to circular coil carrying current. So we know that when current passes through a coil, definitely it will produce magnetic field. So in this case, we are going to find the magnetic field at the point P due to a circular coil carrying current. Okay, let us consider a circular coil having n number of turns, and the radius of the circular coil is r, and I am going to find the magnetic field at the point P. Here I have considered two small elements. First I am going to find what is the magnetic field at the point P due to this small element, and then I am going to find the magnetic field at the point P due to entire element carrying the current. Okay. Here the magnetic field produced at the point P due to the element dl is acts along this direction. Similarly, the magnetic field at the point P due to the element dl, this acts along this side. Here these two magnetic fields, neither they are parallel nor perpendicular to each other, so that we have to resolve it to two components. So one is dB sin phi and dB cos phi. Here this magnetic field is resolved into dB sin phi and dB cos phi. Similarly, this magnetic field is resolved into dB sin phi and dB cos phi. Okay. Here dB cos phi, it is equal in magnitude, opposite in direction, so that it will cancel each other. Only the dB sin theta alone we have to consider will contribute the magnetic field at the point P. So according to Bayes-Savart law, dB is equal to mu naught by 4 pi ideal vector cross r cap divided by r square. This is a vector form. So in magnitude form, dB is equal to mu naught by 4 pi ideal sin theta by r square. See here, in this case, here the angle between the element and unit vector is 90 degree. How? Here it may not be appear like a 90 degree, but actually the current element, angle between the current element and the unit vector is 90 degree. Let me explain you with some other example. Let us consider this cone. See here, here this is current element and this is unit vector, direction of the unit vector. Okay, this is the small element that I have considered here, and this is the direction of the unit vector. Okay, here see the angle between the element and the unit vector is 90 degree. So whatever line you draw on the circle, that line is perpendicular to this curved surface, so that here the angle is 90 degree, so that sin 90 is 1, sin 90 is equal to 1. So we can write the Bayes-Savart law, dB is equal to mu naught by 4 pi ideal by r square. Okay. So already I said dB it has a two component, but here dB cos phi will cancel each other, only the dB sin phi will be there. So we are going to consider dB sin phi. So it is the magnetic field at the point P due to the small element dl. If you want to find the magnetic field at the point P due to the entire current carrying element circular coil, then we have to integrate dB. So B vector is equal to integral of dB vector. Here integration limit is 0 to 2 pi r. Here circumference of the circle is 2 pi r. So 0 to 2 pi r I am going to integrate. In this case, already I said dB it has a two component, in which one component, that is dB cos phi will cancel each other. Only we are going to consider the dB sin phi. So dB sin phi, in this case this acts along z axis. In the z axis the unit vector is k cap, that is why I have used k cap. Okay. So B vector is equal to, now substitute the value of dB, where dB is equal mu naught by 4 pi ideal by r square. mu naught I by 4 pi dl sin phi k cap divided by r square. Just I have substituted dB in this equation. Okay. Now let us consider the triangle OPC. OPC. In your textbook, wrongly mentioned OCP. Okay. But we have to consider OPC. From this triangle OPC, we are going to find the sin phi. That is this angle. Sin theta is equal to opposite by hypotenuse. That is R by capital R by small r. Capital R by small r. Okay. Here I don't know the value of small r. So it's a hypotenuse of the triangle. For example, this triangle is the hypotenuse of the triangle. We can determine the hypotenuse of the triangle using Pythagoras theorem. Here r square, it is equal to capital R square plus Z square. It means Cp square is equal to CO square and OP square. So R square is equal to capital R square and Z square. And if we remove the square, then we will get R square plus Z square. Root of R square plus Z square. Instead of root, I am going to use whole power 1 by 2. So now substitute the value of R in the sin phi. Sin phi is equal to R by small r, where small r is R square plus Z square whole power 1 by 2. Okay. Now I am going to substitute the sin phi value in the B vector. So B vector is equal to mu naught I by 4 pi and then integral of 0 to 2 pi r. Instead of sin phi, I am going to substitute r by r square plus z square whole power 1 by 2 and then divided by r square. Here I know the value of r square is capital R square plus z square, capital R square plus z square, and remaining terms are dl into k cap, dl into k cap. Okay. Here we have a r square plus z square whole power 1 by 2. Here we have the r square plus z square whole power 1. So when you add 1 plus 1 by 3, if you add 1 plus 1 by 2, 1 plus 1 by 2, we will get 3 by 2. So these two terms I am going to write as single term, that is r square plus z square whole power 3 by 2. Just add the powers, here whole power 1 by 2, here whole power 1. So if you add these two, you will get mu naught I r by, so mu naught I r by 4 pi r square plus z square whole power 3 by 2. Okay. The remaining terms are dl and k cap. Just we are going to integrate the dl. Integral of dl is L, that is integral of dx is x. So when you integrate dl, we will get L, the limit 0 to 2 pi r, and then we have to substitute the upper limit. When you substitute the upper limit value, so mu naught I r by 4 pi r square plus z square whole power 3 by 2 into 2 pi r. Instead of L, we have to substitute 2 pi r. Okay, here we can cancel pi and you can divide 2 with 4, so that here we will have one more 2. So B vector is equal to mu naught I r square, r into r will become r square, and then 2 into r square plus z square whole power 3 by 2 into k cap. This is the magnetic field at the point P due to a circular coil carrying current. Okay. So in your textbook they are given up to this. What is the magnetic field at the center? At the center, the z value will become 0. For example, here at the point P, the distance is z. At the center, the z value will become 0. When you put at the center z is equal to 0, then the z will become 0, so that r square whole power 3 by 2 is r cube. Here we can cancel r square r cube, and if the coil has n number of turns, then we have to include one more n, mu naught n I by 2r. This is the magnetic field at the center of the coil, at the center. Next we are going to see about the current carrying loop as a magnetic dipole. Here the circular coil is nothing but the current carrying loop. The current carrying loop, it behaves like a magnetic dipole. Okay, we know that the magnetic field at the point P due to a circular coil carrying current, here B vector is equal to mu naught I r square divided by 2 into r square plus z square whole power 3 by 2 into k cap. Okay, at large distance, then Z will become very large compared to the radius of the circular coil. So that Z is very greater than R. So the magnetic field B vector, it is equal to mu naught I r square divided by 2 Z cube. In this case I have neglected R square because R is very small. So that I have neglected R square, and I am going to consider only the Z square. Z square whole power 3 by 2 is nothing but 2 3s are 6, 6 divided by 2, again we will get cube, Z cube. So mu naught I r square divided by 2 Z cube into k cap. Here area of the circular coil, area is equal to pi r square. From this we can write r square is equal to a by pi. So a by pi, and B vector, now substitute the value of r square in B vector, that is B vector is equal to mu naught I, instead of r square I am going to substitute a by pi divided by 2 Z cube. Okay, now you multiply and divide this equation by 2, so that you will get mu naught 2 IA, just I have multiplied by 2 and divided by 2, mu naught 2 IA divided by, here 2 into 2 will become 4 Z cube pi, 4 Z cube pi. Okay, the magnetic field due to a bar magnet along its axial line, this already we have derived in the previous classes. The magnetic field due to a bar magnet along its axial line is B vector is equal to mu naught by 4 pi 2 pm vector divided by r cube into I cap. And let us put this equation 1 and this equation 2, and comparing equation 1 and 2, we will have, when equate these two equations, then we will have, here we can cancel mu naught and 2 and 4 pi and r cube Z cube, where Z cube also distance, r cube also distance, we can cancel. I cap is a unit vector gets cancelled. So PM vector is equal to I A vector. It means the equation represents the circular loop, the current carrying loop. It behaves like a magnetic dipole moment. It has a magnetic dipole moment. It acts like a bar magnet, so that it has a magnetic dipole moment. PM vector, it is equal to I A vector. So the magnetic dipole moment of the current loop, it is equal to the product of current into area vector. The magnetic dipole moment of the current loop, it is defined as the product of current into area vector. Okay, here we can determine the magnetic dipole moment of the current loop by using right hand thumb rule. Suppose if the current flowing in the circular coil is represented by the right hand fingers, the curling fingers, if the curling fingers represents the current flowing in the circular coil, then the stretched thumb gives the direction of the dipole moment. So in this case, if the current flows in the clockwise direction, then the magnetic dipole moment, it acting into the board. If the current flows in the anti-clockwise direction, then the magnetic dipole moment of the circular loop, it acts radially outwards. Okay students, we will see the remaining in the next class.